What's up, poker people? If you are looking for a place to see some samples of what it's like to study GTO, get some sample GTO information for free, you have come to the right place. We are going to study cash game strategies today. I'm also going to give you some of the fortune-telling commentary, as that is my particular extra piece of interest, shall we say. And at the end, I will give you some statistics from today's session about how often I was right about what the fortune-telling meant, how often the GTO moves helped me win the hand, etc. I'll show you the summary at the end. Let's begin, shall we? I am in the small blind with Queen 6 suited. It's kind of a mediocre hand, in my opinion, would be the best way to describe it. But we are very deep stacked and only one other player, no raises before me. So I'm going to guess that GTO says I should raise small. And before I press this button, I'm going to say that the Queen of Hearts is intuition. And the 6 of Hearts means panic, but don't panic, as in there's a logical reason to panic, like the fact that it's a mediocre hand, but to use your intuition about how to take advantage of that, because now might be a good time. And under those circumstances, I might raise small as well. I might overbet depending on the precise character of the other person. But all of this is to say, I believe the GTO agrees here. We shall raise small. Indeed, it says 100% of the time that is the right move to make. However, we've now been re-raised to 10 big blinds. So I say GTO says we should fold, but under the right circumstances, I might overbet and try and get the big blind to fold. I might assume, due to this fortune-telling meaning, that they are just trying to bet me out of the hand. So could go either way from fortune telling. Looks like intuition, if it was telling me to re-raise and try and bet out the Queen Jack offsuit, would have been pretty strong move right there, because Queen Jack offsuit isn't necessarily going to want to go all in or get really big. If I re-raise again, they might think that I have ace queen or ace king or something like that. Next hand, we have Ace of Hearts, 7 of Diamonds on the button. In another position, I would probably fold this hand, but on the button, it is pretty strong. However, it's off suit, there's no chance of a straight, and so I would say GTO says raise small, though sometimes I would want to just call with this, because Ace of Hearts is refuge, and 7 of Diamonds is betrayal. So refuge, I tend to play a little slower or hide the strength of my hand, refuge, and especially when combined with betrayal. It would imply that the best way to get what I want would be to hide out and betray my opponent. So raising would be the opposite of that, but that's what I believe GTO says to do here. 100% definitely should. Get a fold from the small blind and a call from the big blind. And now they check. So what are we supposed to do? Probably c-bet. At this point, I do think that is what refuge and betrayal means. It has flip-flopped in meaning at this point because I want to betray my opponent and take refuge in my power to do that. Why do I say that? Especially because the King of Spades means judgment. Someone might not be judging the power of their hand correctly. And 5 of Hearts is disruption. Somebody holds the power to disrupt the other in this hand. 2 of Diamonds, resourcefulness. So all of that combined with taking refuge and betraying someone makes me think I can easily bet them out of the hand. So the question is, should I bet small, medium, large, or overbet? Of course, it depends very much on the character of the other person, which one is going to scare them the most. But from GTO standpoint, I actually think that it's going to want me to check, and that it would say bet small is like the secondary consideration, but from fortune telling, I would bet small or medium, most likely. Let's see what it says. Ooh, maybe it did agree with bet small. So we have the 7 of spades, persistence. So if I had bet small on the flop like I wanted to, but thought GTO disagreed with, I would be betting small again. Now it doesn't like that. I think it would say medium, I guess, was my second thought. And on the river, we have the Jack of Confusion. Yes, I have been confused the whole time. It also might imply, from a fortune-telling perspective, that you could confuse them with a triple barrel bluff. But the main point of this is to try and guess the GTO correctly. I am studying GTO mentality at the moment, so I will check. And now it agrees with me. And I actually win with my pair of 7s. So on the flop, did it want me to bet small? Yes, it did agree with the fortune telling on the flop. It said bet small would be smart. Then on the turn, it wanted me to... I'm still having trouble reading this. Check. Hello. It is highlighted. Excuse me. They checked. And it wanted me to bet large on the turn. Resourcefulness. Interesting. Going bigger once I have the pair after betting the flop in order to just make it seem like I have ace-king, even though I don't. The GTO agreed that I should persist and bet even bigger on the turn. And on the river, it said that the GTO for the ace-3 was to check, as it did, and I was supposed to check. So there you have it. Moving on to the next one, we have on the button again, King of Diamonds, confidence, 6 of Hearts, panic, but don't panic. That would, from fortune telling, say, be confident, although there might be reason to panic, like the fact that this is not a strong hand from a GTO perspective. It's acceptable on the button, as you can probably tell from the fact that call is not here. I suppose I would fold it sometimes, depending on what's the case. Maybe in this situation where I only have 20 big blinds left. Should I still raise small with only 20 big blinds? I'm going to go with no. I think if I was deeper stacked, it might tell me to raise. So yeah, got that one right. Let's do a few more hands before we go. Again, with the King 5 offsuit, a bit different, but also the same from the last one in a way. We're now in the cutoff, and King of Hearts is diplomacy, 5 of Diamonds is imbalance, and so it might seem diplomatic to behave imbalanced and raise small or overbet here, depending on the circumstances, but I believe GTO says to fold yet again. Correct. Again, King 4 offsuit. Let's just be quick about this. GTO and fortune telling agree here. Confidence and charity. No. Fold. Next. 10 of spades, 7 of spades. Unavoidable barrier and persistence. Sometimes I would think that I should raise or overbet with this because it's going to be very effective given this message. GTO, I believe, would say sometimes we are going to raise small because we are deep stacked, 150 big blinds with only 1.5 in the pot. Yeah, raise small 100% of the time. 10, 7 suited. Try to be the unavoidable barrier. Go ahead and persist. GTO and fortune telling seem to agree. So we have relief, rationalizing, and charity on the flop. We've got a gut shot straight draw, we need the 9 of anything. But if we get the 9 of spades, then we have a straight flush, which is pretty freaking amazing. So I'm sure that GTO says that we should call here. I don't think it means that we should raise. Our hand is not that strong just yet. I would guess that he has a pair or 2 overcards at this point. 54.something% of the time, we did the right thing. We are supposed to just call. Now, with the 4 of impatience on the turn, we have the flush. It's possible that we could be behaving impatiently right now by betting too big, because somebody could have a full house should they happen to have 8-4 or 6-4. Now, the likelihood of anyone playing from that position with 8-4 or 6-4 is decent. He is in the big blind. It's called a big blind special. So we are going to assume that we want to bet something at this point to find out if we are going to be an unavoidable barrier or if they are going to try and be an unavoidable barrier. See how strong they want to play their hand. I don't think check is a good move here. Ooh, ace of spades, the end and a new beginning. The entire amount of luck may have just shifted over to our opponent right now, as that card implies, because they now only need to have 1 spade in their hand that is higher than a 10 to beat us. So, what are we supposed to do from a GTO standpoint? I'm waffling at the moment. Fortune telling, I believe, would tell me to go ahead and just check and not get too risky here. So we're going to do that. They say that's okay. But on the turn, they wanted me to check, as I thought they might, even though I decided to bet to see what my opponent wanted to do. So I should have bet medium or checked. I was kind of thinking that, but I thought the bet medium was a smaller percentage than the check, and it's backwards. So there you have it. Let's go ahead and make this the last hand for today. We have assertiveness and unavoidable barrier, as in the last chance to assert ourselves today for practice. Let me know if you want a longer or shorter video next time. I can't really decide how many hands you might like to see at once. But last hand, on the button, Queen 10 offsuit, pretty decently high in strength on a range chart. We're going to go with raise small, not overbet, even though we are deep stacked. That's correct. I might go a little more than 2.5 big blinds depending on who I am playing against. I believe with the re-raise, we are supposed to call or fold. So I'm going to go with call. Nope, we were supposed to fold. So one thing you will get to see now that I made that silly choice is, by the way, assertiveness, unavoidable barrier. I think I just went against both the fortune telling and the GTO and should have folded. So we now have the end and a new beginning, diplomacy, and relief. That's a gut shot straight draw for me, and possible flush draw for someone else. Considering the way you bet, pretty high likelihood that he has an ace at the very least, if not ace king itself, or a pocket pair of one of those two, and I am really, really outflopped at that point. So I definitely think that I should check. But what you're going to get to see is that it really doesn't matter, according to this software, what decision I make from this point. I will get a negative 100% on my score because of that. I will show you in just a minute. So we now have the 8 of hearts, which is healing. So if, say, they had bluffed me out of the last hand, I might try to bluff them right now and get healing, make that money come back to me. I would probably bet small, because I want to see if asserting myself can be an unavoidable barrier for them rather than for me at this point. But I think GTO says to check. And again, doesn't matter what decision I make. Especially now that we have the king of loyalty on the river. If I had been betting or bluffing prior, I would bet again. But lo and behold, they have finally bet on the river. I'm going to go ahead and fold, though. Look, doesn't matter. See that blue little squiggly there? See, I easily could have bet them out of the hand. Oh, of course it's going to show me a liar. It says negative, just says 0%, though usually it says negative 100. Once you've made a blunder, it really screws up your history and can lead to a very low score over here. And so there you have it, a couple of hands for you to practice with. I'm gonna take this 67% score with a grain of salt. As long as I am improving, I am happy. You can come back next time to see if I improve or score worse. As always, thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day and have fun playing Texas Hold'em.